Welcome to Trash to Treasure for February. For anybody who's new, Trash to Treasure is my monthly upcycling linky for any upcycling at all. Anything you can make into something new and something of greater value is great. What I'm going to be doing today is turning bits of old crayon. We've had a real clear out in our craft cupboards and found lots of bits and pieces of crayon here left over, which I didn't want to throw away. So what we're doing is making them into fun shaped crayons like this, and we're scenting them as well. I've been trying all sorts of things to make the fragrance. I've tried using fine oils, I've tried using herbs from the garden, but the one thing that I found that really works is ground spices. They really do take. So we've got curry, ginger, nutmeg and cinnamon, all of which do work. The first thing that you need to do to make these is to have a little silicone tray here, which the crayons really pop out of nice and easily. There's no need to oil them first or anything else because the wax crayons just pop out. And go through and pop some crayons in each section. If you're after a two-tone effect, you can see in some of them I've got two colours or even more of little bits. That creates the swirly effect. Don't worry if they don't come all the way up to the top, because you can always go back and do a second layer and get one like this layered crayon I have here. So pop a piece in each slot there. I have two in that one because that's quite low. When you've got them all arranged in your tray, you can then choose your spices for each one. You need a fair amount to get the smell to really come through, so don't be scared to put a reasonable amount in. I'm putting quite a bit into this one, and I'm going to do it by rows so that I know just where they are. So this is going to be my cinnamon row along here. I've just got a teaspoon to try and wiggle them into the right slots there. Don't worry too much if they just tip over the edge there, you can just push them back in again. There we go, and then I'm going to swap, and I've got nutmeg next, so I'm going to do nutmeg on my next row. This one's got a shaky pourer to it, so I'm going to just tap that one in like that. Again, all along the row. And then I've got ginger for the next one. Back onto my teaspoon for this. That's going to be a bit too much, I'm going to spill that one. Let's go. As I say, don't worry too much, because once they're in the oven and they start melting down, it will all combine. And finally my curry. And because my children are very fond of curry, I'm actually going to do curry on the last column as well. Not that I want them eating them, of course. They're just a fun smell to be working with. Right, they're now ready to go into the oven. I've just put mine here onto a baking tray, which are going down now into an oven which I've set to about 150 degrees. Now, in they go. I've just taken this tray out after just a couple of minutes, and already they're starting to melt. And what I'm doing is I've just got some cocktail sticks, and I'm just going to gently give them a little stir one by one, using a different cocktail stick because of the different flavours, just to mix in the spices, and just to make sure the crayons melt at an even rate as well. You might want to just leave the ones where we've got the mixed colours all in the same pot, otherwise you're going to end up with a sludgy brown. But where we've got the same colours, I'm just going to give them a little mix. And do that for, that one hasn't quite melted yet, so I'm going to bypass that one and go on to this one. Okay, and when you've done all of those, just pop them back in the oven and switch the tray round. So I'm going to make that row at the end there go to the back, and this row that was at the back come to the front. My crayons have now set on the first layer. So what I'm going to do is I've put a single colour for the moment. I've chosen purple, and I've put purple into a jug here, and I'm actually going to put the jug this time into the oven so that when they come out I can just pour over a top layer. I'm not going to scent the top layer because obviously it's going to go across a range of different fragrances in here, but if you have just one scent in here, so if you say just use cinnamon or just use curry, you could scent the second layer as well. So I'm just going to pop that one into the oven now. It's just had the right amount of time now, so I'm going to just bring them out the oven here. I've got one piece of crayon, if I just tip that for you so you can see, but one piece of crayon just in there. I've actually taken out a couple of times while it's been melting, and this one's been on and off for about 7 minutes, I would say, in an oven at 150, so longer than I've done on the individual first layer, but it was a bigger bulk of crayon that's melting. But it is worth just opening the oven up and giving it a little stir and popping it back in between, so you don't get some bits that bubble and some bits that are left still to melt. So I'm about ready to go now. I'm used to using my tea towel here because the handle is obviously very hot. And just pouring them quickly over each one before they set. I must say it would be an option actually if you wanted to do this all along and just do the same colours on each one. It is much easier to pour it from the melted from the jug here. As my purple didn't go quite across, I've only managed 3 of my rows. I've done exactly the same thing and I've got red on this time. So I'm just finishing off these last ones here with a red topping. There we go. I'm just going to leave those to set now. Which shouldn't take very long. I would think within half an hour that'll be solid enough to turn out, but I might just pop it outside into a chilled area just to speed up the process at which it chills down, and then we'll pop them out. I've chilled them all down now. I just popped them in the fridge actually to finish them off, so they're nice and solid, and we're now ready for the grand reveal. Rather hoping these are going to pop out just as I planned. So here we go. They certainly don't stick at all. There we go, there's one out. And you can see that's stuck down perfectly. I'm rather pleased with that. And that's a curry one. Oh, I'm rather pleased with that. There we go. So just keep popping out all the way along. I'll do a star one next, see if we can squeeze him out. There he is. Two-tone star. So I'm just going to pop those out all the way along. There we are, they're all turned out. I'm really pleased with the effects on them actually. There's some lovely two-toned effects going on here. One colour on one side, one colour on the other. That was my one I did earlier with mottled designs, but to be fair, if you're going to go for the mottled one, I wouldn't do the scenting as well, because you can't really give it a stir in the middle. You just need to let them settle in. So you really want to go for either mottled colours or layers with spices in them. The other idea I had, which we haven't tried yet, is to use some cookie cutters, and what I've done is just taken out the middle two so they're not too close together to give a little gap, and by adding the crayons again into the jug, melting them and pouring them between the layers, I thought you could make a nice, really big, chunky, giant heart-shaped crayon. A nice Valentine's Day idea maybe.